It's time for Media Watch now. Rebecca Bowring is here with a roundup of everything that's been making a buzz on the internet
Hello, Priya.
today. So what are the consequences that have been felt about the US debt crisis?
Actually, we're not starting with that. We are starting with the phone hacking scandal.
Oh gosh, I do
might well be looking
apologise.
at, you might well be thinking about your business segment there.
I might be. Okay, I've got it totally wrong. So tell me what you want to talk about then.
I'd like to talk about the latest and new dark developments, it has to be said, in Britain's phone hacking scandal, because there's evidence to suggest that the mum of a murdered child was actually targeted. You probably remember this story from about 10, 11 years ago, Priya. Sarah Payne, whose daughter Sarah was tragically killed at the hands of a paedophile back in the year 2000. Well, she was told by police that details about her and about her contact details essentially were found on a list compiled by Glenn Mulcair. Now, he was one of the private detectives specialising in voicemail hacking used by News of the World. So Sarah is said to be devastated by this news, particularly given that she was enjoying a close friendship with Rebekah Brooks, the former News of the World editor, of course, who appeared before that parliamentary committee to give evidence as part of this scandal. Now, Sarah had previously been told her name wasn't on the list. In fact, in the final, very last publication of News of the World, she'd written a column saying thank you to all of her great and trusted friends at the paper. So this, for her, must feel something like a bit of a betrayal. For her part, Brooks calls the allegations abhorrent, particularly given the strong link that existed between the Payne family and News of the World, because after Sarah's death, the newspaper really championed a cause that it was a flagship cause, really, the establishment of Sarah's Law, which do you remember that?
Law, was it? Yeah, all in the paper the whole time. Sarah's Law.
Exactly, it was something that was a repeated theme they kept coming back to, and the idea was to give parents of small children limited access to the sex offenders register so that they could know if there was a convicted paedophile living in their area. So Sarah believes that would have saved her daughter's life, and Rebekah Brooks was closely involved with covering all of that, and this name and shame campaign. But the evidence uncovered by police suggests that the phone that was hacked was actually a phone that Sarah was given by the News of the World paper, and possibly even by Rebekah Brooks herself. And this is a story that broke online back on the 8th of July. Online magazine Pop Bitch wrote the following: such was their apparent determination to rid the country of child sex offenders, it wouldn't have seemed too weird if a senior News of the World figure sympathetically handed over a mobile phone at no expense to the victims so they could all keep in touch. And then, of course, there would be no problem monitoring those phones, would there? Now, as far as we understand, this wasn't to do with voicemail hacking, because Sarah didn't have a voicemail box until the year 2009, but it was about listening in on telephone conversations. So it's another huge blow to the reputation of News of the World and Rebekah Brooks herself.
It's going to renew the whole kind of disgust that everybody is feeling with the paper, isn't it?
That's right, it just keeps going on and on.
It does. Where's it going to stop? Who are we going to see next? Okay, well, that's News of the World. So tell us about social networks today. They've been holding a Twinit?
That's right.
Is that right?
Yes, it's a synthesis of Twitter and a minute of silence for the victims of the 77 people killed by that bomb blast and shooting in Norway last Friday. Let's take a look at the computer, because it's being reported as far away from Dublin as Canada. There were 4 young Irish people actually behind this initiative, and this article, Show Love Through Silence, tells a little bit about their story. So back on Tuesday, under the hashtag #TwinitSilence, which, as I say, is about having a minute silence on Twitter, you think, how does that work? Well, actually, they've been spreading the message through social networks such as Facebook, and the idea is to ask the social conscious, as they call them, of the world not to use Twitter and Facebook for 1 minute, which creates an online 1-minute silence. Because there are a lot of people, of course, who are constantly refreshing their social networking pages, and they're looking at what's going on in the world.
Incessant, isn't it?
Incessant, even here in the newsroom. But the idea was that everybody should take a minute out and just reflect on what had happened. So we can have a look actually at some of the ways that they did that. They had their own #TwinitSilence page. Here they've got a thank you to all the people, all the newspapers, media companies, radio stations, bloggers, tweeters, Facebookers and celebrities, they say, who helped to get the message out. They also had a Facebook page which was dedicated to it.
Do we know how many people took part in this Twinit then?
We don't know yet. Those figures are still being collated, but you can see here on this site, Trends Map, which is really interesting, all the places in the world where it was a trending topic, including in Tehran, which you might not have expected. invented. However, they didn't convince everybody. On Twitter, one guy says, horrible as it is what happened in Norway, this is a pretty poor tribute. So he didn't think it was a great idea. But I think the important thing is that this is new, this is innovative, and I've never seen it before. And it might be that this will become kind of the norm, and this will be a way that people pay their respects through social networking. And we've just got time, I think, to show you one final funny thing, which is on the comedy page of the Huffington Post. They're asking us to vote on our choice of the 15 most useless products ever invented. We've got to pick one of them. One of them is Tinkles the toilet cat.
It's not a real cat.
Idea why this exists. No, he just lives in your toilet and pops up and gives you a fright, which is very, very strange. They have spray on hair. Has anyone ever been convinced by spray on hair? I don't know how that works. Is it like a powder that sort of crumbles off and you touch it? We've got this fantastic one here, the privacy scarf.
Wow. We could all do with that in the newsroom, couldn't we?
Well, yes, but do you think you wouldn't draw any attention with that, would you? That balaclava stroke snood contraption. And my particular favourite is the SpeedFit treadmill, which you can use outside. Why you would want to do that, I don't know, but I think we can take a look at a clip of it. I mean,
definitely.
Why would you have a treadmill on wheels?
I can see that catching on the streets of Paris, definitely. Quick way to get to
work. Replace the segways.
Yeah. All right, Rebecca, thank you so much for joining us. That's
Thank
Rebecca
you.
with Media Watch.